Good evening, everybody, and as you may have heard, we have the Tinker pick up for SNA +4 here at the Dota Trash Bronze Placement Best of 3 between SNA +4 and DigNoToss. This is game number 2 of this Best of 3 series between these two fantastic teams. SNA +4 taking the first game. It was fairly close up until a certain turning point, as they all are, I suppose, in the mid-game, where SNA +4 was able to take a 3-man for none trade, take a tower, and just absolutely lean on that wound and magnify their point in their lead until DigNoToss had absolutely no options but to cave in. Very nice starving strategy coming out of SNA +4. My name is Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can catch me casting all over the place, including here at Place Evo, but also at tournaments like Dota Trash, and I do the Join Dota League over at Join Dota Community, and I'm doing tomorrow a tournament for Tournamite, and if you want to have updates on when I'm casting at every level of play, you can catch me over on Twitter at GotCowDota, GOTCOWDOTA. It'd be my pleasure to have you there. And, you know, if you like my casting, if you don't like my casting, if you want to say hi, if you want to ask me about turtles, you can contact me on there as well. So, let's talk about this draft a little bit. As we move forward, looks like Tinker IO coming out of SNA, or excuse me, SNA +4. Somebody in the chat did not like that I say it out. So since I've had no other feedback on that, I guess we'll just go with SNA +4 and save the trouble there. Crystal Maiden being picked up by DigNoToss and also the Bat Rider. A couple blasts from the past. DigNoToss getting rid of the Tiny. That makes a lot of sense with the IO. However, Tiny IO not as popular as he used to be, although I still think Tiny's the best hero to pair with an IO. Overcharge along with the Ganums on the Tiny means bye-bye towers. In addition, he also has the Relocate Stun Avalanche Toss combo. And, of course, IO is going to be able to make sure that Tiny's health pool is high so that if you are trying to attack him, the craggy exterior is just a nightmare. Basically, they synergize like they were made to work together. SNA +4 getting rid of the Spectre. The Spectre makes a lot of sense to get rid of anybody who's going to be able to globally reinitiate. Presumably, there's going to be a Nature's Prophet pickup. And I said that last game because obviously he loves to play Nature's Prophet, and I've seen him play Nature's Prophet in tournament for 6 or 7 games in a row when it's not banned out. But it makes a lot of sense to have another globally relocatable hero along with the IO. They're going to grab the Clockwork for the offlane. That's presumably going to be that IX Mike Clockwork. So once again, I'm left with my foot in my mouth and my pantsed, if that's a verb, as they are not going to go with that Nature's Prophet. Seems like it would make a whole lot of sense along with the IO, but they decide they've got the Tinker enough already. The Boots of Travel along with the Rearm are going to be enough to give them some global initiation and give them some global push. DigNoToss, they have to be careful here. The Bat Rider is going to be really solid at picking out that IO if they can find him, picking out that Tinker before Tinker's able to get away. But they don't have a lot in terms of counter push. Tinker's going to be able to keep the lanes pushed out very well. So will IO alongside anybody, because anytime the creeps are up near the tower, you can spend a relocate. Hey, it cools down extremely quickly. Why not take a tower with it, come back to relative safety, and then relocate out for a gank once you have a little bit more map control? And DigNoToss is going to have to be aware of that. They're going to grab the Rubik. Rubik, a fairly defensive hero. The Telekinesis, very good at punishing people who are out of place, as well as the Null Field to mitigate a lot of the damage. However, a good chunk of the damage that's coming out here is going to be either, I assume, physical DPS coming out of IO's pair partner, or pure coming out of the Tinker. Yeah, that will help deal with the laser and will help deal with the rockets. The Vengeful Spirit coming out of SNA +4. That is presumably going to be your second support, although it could be a semi-carry as well. I expect that is going to be a Vengeful Spirit IO combination as supports, the Clockwork in the offlane, the Tinker in the mid. Meanwhile, DigNoToss probably has the Bat Rider offlane, the Faceless Void farming with the Rubik Crystal Maiden. That is almost certainly not going to be an aggressive tri-lane. So if DigNoToss, if they do anything other than a defensive tri-lane with the Bat Rider offlane, I'll be pretty surprised. SNA +4 have a little bit more flexibility because the IO Vengeful Spirit do work well in an aggressive try. If they do grab somebody with a hard stun who is fairly survivable, somebody like a Chaos Knight, and presumably they're going to grab somebody with a hard stun anyway for the IO, though they could grab somebody along the lines of an Ursa who also works very well with the IO, even though he does not have a hard stun available. We will see what they decide to do, but they could potentially decide to move this into an aggressive tri-lane. Considering how forward they were for game number 1, I would be surprised, or I wouldn't be surprised, excuse me, to see them run an aggressive try. That being said, all things considered, it is looking like a defensive try and defensive try situation. Void, Rubik, Crystal Maiden for DigNoToss and SNA +4, taking that Vengeful Spear, IO, and +1. There's going to be the ban on the puck. That means it's not only, I'm not the only one who believes that's going to be an offlane Bat Rider. SNA +4 also pretty convinced that that's going to be an offlane Bat Rider. Getting rid of the mid that they're most afraid of, puck, with that Dream Coil, able to drop down and keep their relatively squishy lineup. The IO and Tinker in particular, not huge health pools, particularly if they don't get some items up. Slar is going to be banned up by DigNoToss. That's a pretty solid ban. Slar, not only extremely popular right now, also pairs very well with the IO. And with the sprint and IO's ability to tether in, Slar is going to be able to close gaps very, very quickly with a duo, even if they don't have the relocate available. So, I can definitely respect that as a ban. SNA +4 thinking about what they want to do for their farming carry. One would assume, anyway. They've got 10 seconds left, plus the 43 seconds of reserve time. They're going to grab the Morphling, so that's an atypical hero to pair up with the IO, but look at SNA +4's lineup in terms of its synergy. Morphling is going to be able to use to replicate to get globally, to get around globally. IO is going to be able to use to relocate to get somebody else around globally. Tinker is going to be able to use rearm plus boots of travel to get around globally. And Clockwork is going to be able to move 3,500 units at a time, every like 8 seconds once he gets an Ganem in particular, with that hook shot. So, or it's 3,000, excuse me, not 3,500. Phantom Lancer coming out for DigNoToss. That is a very greedy pick considering they already have the Faceless Void. We'll have to see how that works out for them. They're a strong team, and I obviously they know how to run what they're going to pick. But I'm not 100% sure I know how I would expect them to run both of those heroes together. Presumably one of those heroes is going to be mid, possibly a dual mid lane. Alternatively, they could put the Bat Rider mid and do a 2-1-2, sending the Rubik along with the, I assume it would be PL in the off lane with the Faceless Void and the Crystal Maiden for the safe lane. Hard to tell. We'll have to wait and see because like I said, I'm 100% unsure what this could be. We are going to wait through this obligatory early game pause. I'm going to run through our players real quick. For SNA +4, we've got Whitebeard on that Vengeful Spirit with a very nice costume there. Ix Mike is going to take that Clockwork, and it looks like Ix Mike is going to go for the safe lane. So he's moving that way. This is going to be an aggressive try. Not surprising. SNA Dota, captain, or at least the namesake of the team, is going to be on that IO. We've got Oosh tinkering around on the Tinker. That's going to be a mid lane, and KVH is going to take the Morphling for that aggressive tri lane. In the mid lane here, yeah, it does look like we have the potential for a 2-1-2. As the Bat Rider is going for the off lane, the Crystal Maiden is going towards the mid. Or excuse me, it looks like we have the potential for that dual lane mid that I had originally said. It looks like this could very well be what they're doing. That's a fairly atypical way to lane these heroes, but if they can make it work, they'll be able to get a lot more late game out than SNA +4 will be able to, even with the Morphling. Though, to be fair, the Vengeful Spirit is going to be able to significantly boost the amount of damage that Morphling is doing, and the IO is going to be able to even more boost the damage that the Morphling is doing. So they've got a lot of trouble ahead of them if they're unable to command the early game, and it'll be very difficult to do so with both the Faceless Void and a Phantom Lancer. So, on the off lane, we've got Bloody Nine taking that Bat Rider. We've got Derp chilling out on that Crystal Maiden here. And we've got Nayrok casting up a storm on the Rubik. And so is going to be taking that mid PL. And for the safe lane, we've got WWD himself taking that Faceless Void. We'll see how this works. Faceless Void, it looks like we actually have some rotations coming out of both teams. Whitebeard is coming out for this invisibility rune. He has been seen. He has been pinged out. And he is... Oh, wow. Very nice placement of the ward. There's going to be the Frost. Oh, the immediate telekinesis Followed by some auto attacks and the Spirit Lance coming out of Phantom Lancer, which Whitebeard has gotten away. This is a try-on-try mid right now, and as SNA plus Whitebeard, they are going to retreat back to their bottom lane for the tri-lane. Part of me thinks that they might have been able to grab that if the Telekinesis had waited until Crystal Maiden's Stun had reached its full duration. But a little bit quick on the trigger there. As in the top lane, Ice Mike taking a fair amount of harass coming out of Bloody Nine. Bloody Nine taking a fair amount of harass back from Ice Mike. If Ice Mike is able to command those cogs extremely well, at which he should be able to, that's one of his signature heroes. If he's able to keep Batrider's mana pool down, Batrider's going to end up basically helpless in this lane. The damage reduction on Batrider's base damage from 6.80 and the additional nerfs that had come before have made him basically... he's extremely difficult to last hit with. It's almost like last hitting with a range creep. It's tough. So if you don't have a mana pool, the easiest way to stop a Batrider from farming is just reduce his mana pool to nothing and make sure it stays at nothing so he does not have that sticky napalm. Right now, he is already down to about 120. He's got a little bit of regen coming in, and he's got about 6 more casts left. Ice Mike is sitting on top of a fair amount of farm. He's trying to get in. Look, think about the cogs. There's going to be... Ice Mike is actually caught in the flames. He's caught in his own cogs, and he's going to have the sticky napalm stacked on him. The Firefly is doing a fair amount of damage as well. Ice Mike going to throw out the missile. It's not going to be enough. He's actually trying to walk around but avoid getting into the fire. He is going to be our first blood here as he does go down. It seemed like a panic pop of the salve there, or a panic pop of the clarity. Very nice play coming out of the Batrider, making sure that Ice Mike does not have the opportunity to keep his mana pool too low for him to be effective. Down the damage rune top, both teams know it because both teams have the bottom rune warded. Meanwhile, there's also, I think Batrider expected defensive tri-lane. He did put that ward up there. It will help him prevent himself from getting ganked if KVH does decide to rotate, but Morphling is not the heaviest of rotating mids. In fact, he's not the heaviest rotating anything. It's interesting that they put the Morphling there. I think they put the Morphling there just because the PL is there. Oosh, or Ush, excuse me, is now taking this offensive tri-lane. KVH sitting on top of the double damage rune should be able to get last hit pretty well. And Phantom Lancer did go down to that double damage rune as well. Sorry, missed that one. As we do see down in the bottom lane some potential activity going on here as well. Some pinging, and KVH just got a kill in the mid. But we do see the Batrider is coming out here on Whitebeard. KVH getting a double kill in that mid is pretty big. Whitebeard trying to get away. He's not going to be able to, and this is the fronting that we were expecting to turn into a kill. As Whitebeard does go down, making it 2 for 2, all things considered. Losing that PL is a big pain, though. Ice Mike doing fairly well in terms of his last hits, keeping almost doubling up on the Batrider, despite the fact that he did go down for first blood. Looking at our net worth, the Tinker is sitting up at 1,500 to 2,200 for the Morphling. Batrider is a little bit lower. WWD trying to get up some decent farm as well. KVH using the waveform to farm up. He does not have a waveform to get away here, though. Fortunately for Enso, there is no follow-up. Alright, it is nighttime. It is time for the gankers to be doing their thing. And I expect a little bit of rotation coming out here. Some very aggressive warding has gone up here for the Dire side. They know where everybody is. Presumably this means, I mean, obviously they have an aggressive tri-lane. At least they did until they rotated somebody up top. Ice Mike coming in very, very deep on Bloody Nine. Bloody Nine is maybe going to get away. There's going to be the rocket, and Bloody Nine is going to walk away with 23 health. He's actually going to turn around and try to kill Ice Mike. Taking Ice Mike down pretty low. SNA is up here, though, and can heal up Ice Mike at any moment. And this is not something that the Batrider is aware of. Ice Mike is sitting on top of enough mana for another rocket flare. He's got 5 seconds left, and that will... the Tranquil Boots are up. Here in the bottom lane, Whitebeard is going to move on Derp Derp. Derp Derp taking a lot of damage here. The Tinker has dropped the Marksman Machines. Derp Derp cannot be standing in that. There's the waveform. That's 1-2 kills as the Faceless Void goes down as well. The Rupert going down in that engagement as well. Morphling grabbing another double kill and sitting pretty. And so manages to grab a little bit of free farm mid, which is much needed. He's falling way behind where PL wants to be. He's got a bottle, but he's not been commanding the rune. He's got his Quelling Blade, which he really needs in order to contest the rune here in the mid, or contest the farm here in the mid. Up against a Morphling who's ranged. He's not... PL does not have any real significant support there, and is one of these heroes that does not really get that scary until the late game. You get a defusal and a heart up on that guy, it's a different story. But until he gets de-Grinchified, gets a heart twice as big, he gets in a lot of trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. Blood Knight is going to be cogs out, has no mana. He's going to go down to some auto attacks and the rocket. Derp Derp now taking the IO balls to the face. And that Crystal Maiden is going to run for her life. This is not your street corner, honey. They do bad things down here. She is going to back up as net worth is continuing to creak in favor of SNA +4. This Morphling is going to be extremely frightening. Well before the PL is. And I don't know that that PL is going to be the answer to the Morphling. Blood Knight is going to come in, grab one sticky napalm stack up on Ushdota. Ushdota now has two. He's being pulled back with the lasso. He's taking a little bit of auto attack. Third stack is going to go up, and he will be going down to the Bat Rider. That helps tremendously. Bat Rider has been falling a little bit behind, and he's sitting at 12,000 gold, so he's a little ways away from his Blink Dagger yet. Once that Blink Dagger comes out, that's probably going to be the word go for DNT. Actually, that's very difficult to say because their Faceless Void really needs some items too, and he's also falling pretty far behind. In terms of, yeah, he's in the bottom 50th percentile. He's behind the Clockwork. He's behind the Bat Rider, who's in and of himself behind. WWD not doing the best job farming up here. He's actually doing a one-on-one against a Vengeful Spirit right now and not able to really pull ahead. He's only got 19 last hits at 7 minutes. For this level of play, that's pretty surprising. For like a community-based tournament, that would not be that big of a deal. But for a tournament that's got a bunch of semi-pro teams, such as Dota Trash, where you can find your ticket for 99 cents at Dota 2 Source. Throw a little plug in there. Yeah. Team like that, you would expect WWD to be doing much better. But of course, his supports have not been anywhere near him for the bulk of the game. And when they haven't been entirely useful. Just because of the pressure that comes out of Ush and Whitebeard down in this lane. We are going to see rotation here on KVH. KVH is going to waveform over, grab a bunch of creeps, and get back into safety to Spirit Lance, just to try and get some illusions up and get some damage out in order to grab some last hits. And so, doing a decent job for himself, and the Morphling's doing much better. Whitebeard has rotated around the jungle. He is going to go ahead and throw out the Wave of Terror. That is reduced armor, but there is going to be the Time Walk, getting the Faceless Void out of trouble once again. He's able to keep himself from dying, for the most part. I'll give him that. He's sitting at 1-1, but he's not been able to get the farm that he needs, and he won't be able to keep himself dying forever. He will eventually start going down to these gank attempts as SNA +4 starts to peel away. And they are sitting at about 3,000 gold lead, and about the same for experience. Which, by no means insuperable, as I often say. Insuperable, excuse me. But, certainly not where you want to be. Bloody Nine is going to go throw down some stacks of tar. Some sticky napalm up. Get in the old SOS Triangle of Doom as he grabs 3 camps with Derp trying to pick up a little bit as well. Bat Rider trying to do anything he can to make sure he gets that Blink Dagger up. He's so close, and he can't go to lane and risk dying now. If he dies now, it'll be that much longer before he gets it out, and it will give SNA +4 that much more time in order to command the pacing of this game and get that Morphling space to get the farm. Once that Morphling starts to become a powerhouse, there's not going to be a lot that they can do about it until both PL and Faceless Void become powerhouses. KVH, maybe a little bit too far forward. He is doing the strength shift. He does not have the mana for a waveform, but he has a lot more health now that he's shifted away a good chunk of his agility. He is going to be pulled over the cliff. There's the Spirit Lance. He cannot get away. He does not have the mana for a waveform, and he is going to be walking. They're walking into the Martian Machines to try and get him. One more Spirit Lance out to get him, but no. The Essence shift, or excuse me, the strength gain coming out of Morphling has been enough to save him. Enzo getting way down in the deep, and he is going to go down to a shot to the back. The Tinker coming in, saving the day, keeping that Morphling alive. Morphling now shifting back to agility, and doing so, this is actually very nice play coming out of this Morphling. He shifts most of his strength away, bottles up. Once he bottles up, he's going to shift a little bit more of his strength back, and he'll have all of his health back. Playing very nice. KVH getting away by the skin of his teeth there, and they actually managed to grab a kill on that PL who's already underfarmed. Both PL and Faceless Void sitting at about the exact same net worth. Both sitting 26 to 2,900. At 10 minutes, neither of those heroes should be that low, let alone having both of them on your team that low. They are both liable to become food if they are not given enough space to get up the farm that they need. The Void is getting a 10-minute Midas. Ouch. That is painful. Bloody 9 coming into the jungle, throwing down some stacks and trying to make sure that he's getting as much farm as possible as well. He just got his Blink Dagger. That will be helpful, not if nobody can follow up the Blink Lasso. We just saw how hard it is to kill this Morphling, and it's just going to get harder. Taking a look at some of our other items. Drums have come up on the Morphling. Boots of Travel are up on the Tinker. That's about it in terms of big items. Oh, wow, down here we are going to see the Io trying to get away. There's going to be the relocate. WWD is in a little bit of trouble as Whitebeard has come in. Bad Rider went down there as well as the Rubik. There's a teleport in, and Tinker's going to be in here as Ush comes down for the tower. There's going to be TP away from Vengeful Spirit, back to the Fountain, and Ush is going to try to, or Ush is going to try to take this tower in and of his own right, throwing down the Marshal of the Machines. And so far there's no reactions. Crystal Maiden is pinging out her teammate on the PL. PL not really sitting on top of enough farm to really do anything. He's got his Aquila up now, but that is a little bit too little, a little bit too late. They're sitting at 3 and 12. About a 7,500 gold lead, or more than a 7,500 experience lead. They're unable to grab towers right now. They don't have a lot in terms of tower push, but the towers will start falling pretty soon. They've got 2 now that the Tinker has solo pushed that 1 tower. There's going to be the Dust, and KVH is just going to straight up one on that Phantom Lancer. He's got so much more farm, sitting on 2,700 gold and drums, along with the Wraith Band. He's got his treads up, and Faceless Void managing to grab a kill up here in the top. IX Mike going down. Regen Rune picked up by KVH, and he's going to rotate up toward the top. It looks like he's going to wait for a minute and just do a little neutraling. We're trying to get, presumably... Now, I'm not 100% sure what he's going to get. Normally, we see the Lincolns come out, but there's not that much in terms of targetable spells that you really need to worry about as a Morphling. So, we'll see if he does decide to go with that old tried and true Lincolns, if he decides to go for a Black King bar instead, or if he goes with something else entirely. KVH is in a little bit of trouble here as he is trying to strength gain himself back into shape. Yeah, and Bat Rider's not going to be able to kill him there. He's just gaining way too much in terms of health. He'll be able to shift himself back down and bottle up and then just walk right back out into the jungle. No problems at all. Derp Derp going back to the Fountain. KVH, yeah, all the way back in the jungle already. Sitting at just about full health and shifting his stats once more. Doing the old Morphling song and dance. Oh, we do see up here in the top lane, it looks like they're trying to move on WWD, but WWD is going to back out. He's got his mask of death up now. See his Morbid Mask. Little Dota 1 coming out. This is a nice ward. I'm going to go ahead and throw up the Radiant Vision. You see all the vision that gives. It actually pops down behind the tower over the cliff and grabs vision in that semicircle, which is going to allow them to not only see behind the tower, but also see around the front of the tower. And it's difficult to de-ward as well, so it's not a typical warding spot. Very, very nice placement on that cliff. But the key is you got to place it all the way over on the side. There's a relocate coming out between Whitebeard and Io. It is going to come in behind here as Enso is taking a lot of damage. He is going to go down. IX Mike here trying to be in the engagement. WWD is going to go ahead and time walk himself in. He's trying to take out Whitebeard before Whitebeard relocates back. Whitebeard is going to be swapped, and he is going to go back right out of the Chronosphere. That Chronosphere, probably not the best spent ever. He knew that relocate was going to happen soon. Or should have known anyway. And that's a real painful moment for WWD, because not only is he behind him farm, but that gets rid of his opportunity for the next 110 seconds to really safely feel like he can secure a kill. Bloody 9 is going to be caught out here by KVH. Is KVH going to be able to kill him? Bloody 9 is just going to walk away and push him back. And KVH is going to retire back into the lane. The relocate gates are starting to happen now. SNA plus 4 is really starting to flex their muscles. DNT has such late game. Just like last game, they had a lot of late game, but they started to get steamrolled a little bit in the middle of the game. This is an even stronger example of that, because the Morphling is just going to get worse and worse to deal with, and the PL is just so far behind. I'd say they're in worse shape now than they were throughout the bulk of last game, and we saw how last game worked out for them. So we'll have to see how they decide to change their execution in order to buy themselves enough time to make this happen. Back behind their tier 2 tower in the bottom, Snob himself, or KVH, excuse me, is cutting creeps and trapping the supports here. He's actually just going to come in with the bottle and attack Dirt. Dirt was looking somewhere else. He did not have his screen on himself, and he's going to go down before he has an opportunity to really react. KVH does go down for it, but meanwhile, on the front end, Enzo is taking a lot of damage as well. The rockets go out, the laser go out. There's another rocket coming out of Ice Mike. There's going to be the hook shot onto the creep. The swap comes out onto Ice Mike, and Whitebeard does the defensive swap, throws himself into the lasso, and will be going down for it. The waveform goes out from Nayrok. It is stolen, and he is not down yet, but another sticky napalm should slow him enough for Nayrok to catch up. And there's the blink, and that's going to be enough. The relocate is coming, and these guys have to get out of here. Get out of here fast. The old IO Express is bringing the pain train. Bloody Nine looping around. There's 3 here, but IO's not going to be here for long. Tinker's now here by himself. No, Tinker came down with IX Mike. And they are going to actually walk into Bloody Nine. Bloody Nine is going to blink away. Tinker's going to blink away. And IX Mike is going to be sitting here holding himself. Confused as to what just happened. I thought I had a bunch of people around here, but now I'm just throwing and sputtering that battery assault all by my lonesome. Some vision about to expire here for the Dire side. Some fresh vision has gone up. It's fairly aggressive, but not terribly aggressive. They're still just trying to open up space for the Morphling. They're doing a wonderful job. Wow, WWD just going to teleport right in front of the Morphling. He is going to be mini-stunned there. And Morphling is sticking around. He's got the waveform if he wants to move on this. WWD does have a Chronosphere, however. And, yeah, Morphling is tanking the tower a little bit, too. WWD does not seem confident that he'll be able to take it, even though he does have the Mask of Madness up now. In terms of general items, yep, we're going to see some rotations, though, and they want to move on KVH. You can sense it. KVH is going to go and throw out another nuke. Slash stun. The Bat Rider has come up here and is not going to be able to get the Morphling through the waveform. Morphling will be able to get away, and they've got a double rotation for nothing. Meanwhile, in the Radiant side jungle, and so has been cut out by IX Mike, and he will go down. I'm entirely unsure what he was doing down there. There have been 2-pronged engagements going on all game, where opposite sides of the map, half the team is fighting, half the team. These teams seem to have exactly synchronized watches for these gank attempts. And they are moving on each other in about the same pulse rate. Unfortunately for DNT, SNA+4 is doing such a better job of it. 6-17 in favor of SNA+4 on the Dire side. They're moving in for the Roshan now as the Medallion of Courage has been finished on the Vengeful Spirit. And yeah. Eagle Horn has been up on the Morphling for some time. The Aegis is now up on the Morphling. Ush is getting a little bit of farm here. Giving a little bit of farm to Whitebeard as well. And so on the PL is coming in, still trying to catch up in terms of farm. He's still just sitting on terms of drums. He hasn't even finished his boots. He's got drums, Aquila, and brown boots. That's it. This is a dangerous game to have a PL that is that underfarmed. He is just going to end up feeding in over and over again. And if we take a look at the KD, we see PL 0 and 6. This is why you don't typically mid a PL. It is just not a strong suit. He's melee. He doesn't have the best last hitting capabilities. He needs a lot of support, and he needs a lot of farm. He's not as level dependent as he is farm dependent. So getting him those levels in the mid, not nearly as helpful as getting him some farm in the bottom lane. That being said, Morphling sitting at 9-1-1, doing a very good job. The Chronosphere does go up, and WWD is going to be swapped out of his own Chronosphere. Very nice play coming out of Whitebeard Dota. Whitebeard Dota has been lassoed up, and he's going to be pulled away. Bloody Nine is very, very low. He's going to be taken down by one last auto attack coming out of the Morphling. Morphling is going to go into shotgun the Rubik. That's 2 down. Oosh is going to teleport away. Grab some mana, come on back, I assume, for this tower push. KVH thinking about making this a set. The whole time IO is just up farming top as well. Not a hero who traditionally needs a whole ton of farm, but it certainly doesn't help. Or certainly doesn't hurt, excuse me. The Gem of True Sight also up on the Clockwork, so as though PL wasn't having enough trouble, now he can't even doppelwalk away from it. WWD is going to move up on SNA. SNA is trying to get away. He will be able to tether to these creeps that are coming in. If he is not... Oh! Time locked and not able to get away. That could not have been a better RDM. Or... RNG, excuse me, for the WWD. However, he is not have the mana for a walk away here, and he is going to go down to IX Mike. Nayrok now is going to go ahead and throw the telekinesis up, and Ush is going to make sure that he is paid for that with Ice Mike grabbing a double kill on that. Bloody 9 now. Trying to get IX Mike underneath the cover of his own tier 1. He is going to, oh, very nice swap. Interrupts the lasso. IX Mike getting away without any real significant pains, and that's going to be the GG. The $75 third place prize going the way of SNA plus 4 in a 2-0 best of 3 against DigNoToss. Thanks for tuning in to the Dota Trash tournament here. I'm sure you guys have been watching all day with my good pal Helium and Vikramond doing the casting on the main channel. My name is Gorgon the Wonder Cow. If you like my casting, if you want to support me, you want to support Dota Trash, you can go ahead and go over to Twitter and follow me at GotCowDota. I would be pleased to update you on all the tournaments that I'll be doing. I'll be casting most of the day tomorrow. And, of course, I cast all throughout the week as well at every level of play. I just want to thank Dota Trash for having me out. Do the casting here for their bronze level competition, or their bronze level placement match. And of course, while you're here, please do go ahead and throw down a follow on this channel. That's twitch.tv/playsevo1. It has all sorts of casting, all sorts of competition on it, including some of these own teams that have been in Dota Trash that come in through the Sevo tournament. You can catch fresh games here at Sevo Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you can also catch relives and additional rescheduled games throughout the week. So make sure you're stopping by, make sure you're following us here on this channel for regular Dota content of the highest caliber. That being said, on behalf of Dota Trash and Sevo, my name is Gorgon the Wonder Cow. Allow me to play you out with the lobby screen.